There isn't enough light. I can't read anything. He is completely cold. Better to be safe than sorry. I poured everything out. Sergeant, I'll need your help. I want you to prevent anybody from entering the graveyard.
Of course, sir.
We have a murder here. I don't want anybody to be blundering around.
Wouldn't it be better if I ran to the station, sir?
No, it would not. You will not move an inch from the gate.
Excuse me, sir, but I think...
You personally guarantee that nobody will get to the cemetery. Do you understand?
As you wish, sir. You are the detective, sir.
The best thing I can do is report the incident myself, and the sooner the better. At least I can try out the office telephone. Detective Sergeant Briscol, put me through to Chief Inspector Powell, please. I see. And when will he return? It's urgent. All right, I'll call back later. Please tell him I called and that I'll be in the field now if he needs to talk to me. He'll know. He's not here, and he should be back in 2 hours, so what should I do now? I'm not going to waste my time. I'll search the neighborhood to try and find clues, and then we'll see.
I'm just asking, nothing more.
And I am repeating that it is pointless. There is nothing to see in there.
Well, if there is nothing to see, why don't you allow me to go in?
I have to insist that you leave.
Oh, I perfectly understand. Who's your superior?
You can ask at the station.
Thank you very much for your helpfulness.
Any troubles, Carter?
Not at all, sir. Just this annoying journalist. He wanted to go in.
Mind he stays on this side of the wall.
Should I arrest him straight away, sir?
Do you have any reason to do that?
I think he's suspicious, sir. How come he appeared right here?
Leave it up to me. Unfortunately, I have no reason to confiscate it. How long have you been working as a police officer?
Only 2 years, sir, but the time passes pretty fast.
Yes, I've already noticed one never gets bored in here.
Well, sometimes it is exciting. The harbour attracts various shady fellows who like to cause trouble. You're probably used to more peaceful places, aren't you, sir?
That's true. I served in the countryside for 3 years.
Really, sir? I'd bite your hand off for that job, sir. Nobody could ever get me back to Plymouth. Why did you leave, sir?
I'm sorry, but I'd rather keep some details for myself, at least for now. Do you have any matches?
Of course, sir. Do you smoke?
No. Sometimes I just need to shine light on something.
I have a cigarette from time to time, sir, but it's hard on the pocket. Here you are, sir.
Thank you. We have work to do, Sergeant. Someone has broken into a nobleman's family tomb.
Oh, unbelievable. What are people capable of today?
Tell me, has something similar happened before?
I don't know about anything like that, sir. Try asking the local vicar.
Yes, I was going to do that.
Shall I go to the office, sir?
Why? Do you think we'll need help?
Well, I think we might.
I'll manage, don't worry. Do you know that man?
I do, sir, unfortunately.
Why the regret?
His name is Nathaniel Forrest. He brings nothing but trouble. I don't know how it's possible, sir, but any time anything happens, he's there. He's like a pain in my neck, sir.
Which newspaper does he write for?
The Courier, sir. A local sheet, nothing special. He publishes a photograph, adds several pages of rubbish, and people swallow it. But in my opinion, sir, serious people never read anything like that.
Excuse me, are you with the press?
And you with police, if I'm not mistaken.
I see there is no need to pretend anything. So I suppose you will not mind several questions, will you?
Of course not.
What are you doing here so early in the morning?
There's nothing strange about it. I'm working on an article about the funeral of Sir William, which took place yesterday. You know, the nobleman, nicknamed Mad William or something. I bet I won't be the only journalist who'll come here today, so I got up early.
I suppose the family of the deceased is agreeable to that, and that you have their consent?
Inspector, I hope we two are not going to trespass upon each other's patch.
Let me make it clear. I am no inspector, but I'm going to keep a close watch on you. You can count on that. And I'm prepared to pressure you, if it's necessary.
I accept the challenge. It will be my pleasure to work with you.
Not mine. Big-headed fool. Just wait, I'll show you. Sir, you have no business here, so please leave.
Don't count on it.
Have you ever seen a prison cell from the inside?
I have. But don't get me wrong, it's nothing to shout about.
Exactly.
Is that supposed to be a threat? You can't arrest me.
I'll do it.
I'll complain.
You can.
I'm not going to leave anyway. The public has a right to know what's going on.
He didn't swallow the bait. He's no amateur. Did you know Sir William personally?
No, we never met, thank God.
Tell me, how can you write about someone you don't know?
Inspector, everyone knew Sir William because of what he did during his life. I've talked to plenty of people who ran away from the horror. Trust me, the stories were terrible.
Verified by whom?
The horror of those people's eyes, Inspector. It will convince you more than anything else.
This is leading nowhere. A prostitute in a church would be more credible than him. The tomb seems to be for male family members only. But none of them lived to reach the age of 40. Now, this is better. The oldest deceased was Abraham Lewis. Died at the age of 38. Why would they put an empty coffin here? Maybe I just don't understand local customs. I can't grasp it properly. The crevice is too narrow. Well, I expected a coin. This won't be of any substantial value. I'm no expert, but it cannot be recognized by the naked eye. No scratches, a perfect cut, and a very specific refraction of light. It takes my breath away. This must be a real diamond. The damaged tomb. Does it belong to a significant family?
Significant? Not significant. Rather cursed.
Excuse me. What do you mean?
Exactly what I am saying. The Lewis family, one of the oldest families in the whole town, was once highly respected. But when Sir William was born, the last heir, it seemed God turned away from them. And if not God, the townspeople certainly did. Nobody could bear to look at his lifeless face. Even yesterday, at the funeral, the coffin was kept closed during the whole ceremony. The night's events are the punishment for our weakness. That's simply the way it is.
Wait a minute. I need to make this clear. The damaged tomb belongs to the deceased's family. The one whose funeral was held just yesterday.
Precisely. We placed Sir William Lewis's lifeless body in his tomb in the dead of night. And this morning that same tomb was desecrated.
Father Mulcahy, can you be discreet?
I am a priest.
I was inside the tomb, despite your request not to.
Why are you telling this to me? You will confess to God, not to me.
The coffin is empty.
What? It's not possible.
Please, stay calm.
Dear Lord, but that would surely mean... Are you sure? You opened the coffin?
It was open when I stepped in.
But what shall we do now?
For now, keep it to yourself.
You can count on that. Do you realize what a scandal this is?
Leave it to us. We will solve it. It's becoming pretty complicated. I have to find out as much about the deceased as I can. Is it true, what's said about Sir William?
You mean that Sir William was a beast and a monster? Yes, that is true.
I must confess that I don't know what to think.
Who of us is able to understand God's intention? But I am sure it was not God's will that he came into this world.
What do you mean?
When he was born, it was as if he wasn't one of God's creations. He had a totally lifeless face. And those eyes. Understand me, it is not easy to talk about it.
I understand. Tell me, how did his family cope with it?
It was very difficult, especially for his mother. She just could not bear it. And eventually the strain was such that she took her own life. We had to bury her on the Gallows Hill.
Where is it?
It is a place forgotten by God, a cemetery for suicides.
And what about his father?
He disappeared the night when all the servants servants left the mansion. And then only William remained with Lady Miriam, his grandmother.
All this just because he had a disfigured face?
No, of course not. When he grew older, strange stories began to be told about him. Once, it was a dead cat in his arms. Once, he was found sitting next to a dead horse. And whenever a maid disappeared, you can easily guess whose work it was said to have been. At that time, his father was still alive and kept the estate together, but that was not to last. The servants revolted, set the house on fire, and fled. His father vanished, and only ruins remained. A sad and tragic story.
I'd like to know more.
You must excuse me, Detective, but there is nothing more to say.
The coffin was closed during the whole funeral, is that right?
Yes.
By whose request?
Lady Miriam, the grandmother of the deceased, wished it so.
That's suspicious, don't you think?
I can't understand why.
I think it might have already been empty before the funeral. Perhaps it was Lady Miriam's last attempt to protect her grandson. Everybody hates him. It almost destroyed the family. If he disappeared, he would soon be forgotten about. Lady Miriam might have faked his death in the hope that is what would happen.
I am sorry, but this seems rather far-fetched to me. The absolute isolation and the permanent fear of discovery would be worse than a prison sentence.
You're right, but people sometimes do desperate things when they have no other choice. It's possible that those delinquents tried to break into the church. Perhaps the gravedigger tried to stop them, and so they killed him.
But what do the destruction of the tomb and disappearance of the body have to do with it?
It can be a provocation, or a camouflage. They try to put us off the scent.
I cannot believe it.
We're at the very beginning of the investigation. It's my duty to examine every possibility.
If I can help with anything, I am at your service.
In that case, I would like to ask you to check the church inventory, just in case something is missing.
Yes, that is a good idea. At least I can make myself useful.
If you find something out and I'm not here anymore, send a message to the station.
You can rely on me, Detective. God bless you.